In this presentation, we will generate, analyze, print, and export to Excel a comparative income statement. Let's zoom into it with Xero. Here we are in our Xero Company Demo Company dashboard. We're going to be opening up our favorite reports here. So we're going to be opening up our accounting reports. I'm going to open up both the balance sheet and the income statement. Our focus here is on the income statement. Before we do, however, let me just go into the reports again. We're going to go into the reports and consider our major financial statement reports, which are here under the financial statement reports. And if I select more, recall that we have the income statement and we have the balance sheet here. There's not a whole lot of variance on the balance sheet and the income statement. So there's not a whole lot of variance on them that are kind of like default variants. But we can memorize the reports because remember, all the variant type reports are basically going to be variants of the standard balance sheet and income statement. That might be different than some other accounting software, such as QuickBooks, where you might have more reports that are kind of standard reports, but really, they're kind of variants of the balance sheet and income statement. So we will create those variants, and then when you save them, you can save them in the customized field. There's pros and cons of that. You have to create them, but when you create them, you can make them more customized. And when you go into the financial statements here, there'll be less kind of clutter in the reports because you'll have those major reports. The ones you're using most often, of course, you can put the star next to get to them. All right, let's open up our reports. We're going to go to the drop down. We're going to be opening up both the balance sheet and the income statement. I like to have them both available whenever working on either one of them or pretty much working on anything. So then I'm going to right click on the tab up top. I'm going to duplicate that tab, put the balance sheet to the right, go back to the left. Let's open up the income statement by going to the accounting drop down again, opening up that income statement. And then when it opens up, it's taking a little long here. I don't know what's going on, but when it opens up, I'm going to right click on the tab up top and duplicate it. So there we have it. And then sometimes I like to actually make another kind of income statement so I have a comparison of what it originally looks like, the income statement that's the standard versus the thing that we're creating here. So I'm going to right click and duplicate it again. So we got the balance sheet way out here, the income statement that we're not going to mess up, and then the income statement we're going to mess up or make better or create into something new and exciting. So then we're going to go back down. Here's going to be our income statement. We're going to imagine what's going to happen here. So we got an income statement. I'm going to compare it. Let's even change the name right now. It's going to be called a comparative income statement. We have the income column here. I want to have another column, which is going to be the one period versus another period. So this is for the year ended. We can have for the prior year, possibly, or we can take a look at the prior month if we so choose. Now, I'm actually going to look at 2019 because I think the data in 2019 is easier to work with. So I'm going to look at last year and update this. So here's last year's information. And so I want to do a comparison first. Let's do that first. And then I'm going to go to the reports up top. I'm going to go to the report settings. I like to remove the decimals. I don't need the pennies on there. And I'm just going to take a look at the prior period. So I'm going to say, show me the prior period, please. Now we have the comparison 2019 and 2018. So that's nice. What if I just want a month-end comparison? Well, that means if I just want like December versus November, well, then I would change the last fiscal year to the last month. Last month, update that report. And now we have November and December. November, December 1st. And that's typical. I'm holding down Control and scrolling up, by the way. And that's typical because we typically want the current year first because it's the most relevant data. Next thing I would like to see is a difference between December and November, a difference column, subtracting the two out. To do that, we're going to go into the edit layout down here. We're going to edit the layout and we're going to be adding a column. So we're going to go up top to the columns. I'm going to delete the changes I had before. So we don't have any changes before. So all we have at this point in time are these two columns. So that's what we have. All right. So then we're going to go back up top and I'm going to add a column. So we're going to add a column and we want to make a column with a formula, And then we want to have, and if the formula column, if I take this little scroll bar and go to the right, there's our new column. There's the two columns with our new column to the right. So I'm going to select the drop down. I'm going to go to the 2019 minus the 2018. Or I'm sorry, the December minus November. They're both in 2019, but one's December, later minus the earlier time period. All right, that's it. And then I'm going to call this the difference or change, you might want to call it. That either terminology would be fine. If we say done and see what happens to it, it has now done the very thing that we planned for it to do, so, which is good. So then we have, for example, I have, the cash column is the 10892 minus the 1904, and there's the difference. Now we want to have that percentage change, the horizontal kind of analysis percentage change, which means we want to take that difference, divide it by the prior year. So the prior year being, the prior period, which is the prior month, being November. So I'm going to take that and divide it by November 1904. That's going to be the percentage change. Let's do that one more time. The 8988 divided by November, the 1904. So if I move that over, that's a big change. That's going to be the 472% change. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to go to the edit layout down below, and we're going to be adding another column with a formula once again. So I'm going to go back up top, add another column with a formula. I'm going to scroll to the right a bit so we can see what we're doing. Here's our new column. It's going to be a formula again. We want to take the difference column. So it's going to go all the way down for the whole row. I'm going to take the difference column and divide that by the previous period, which in this case is November, divided by November. And then I also want to make it a percentage. So we're going to make it a percentage as well. And then I'm just going to call that, let's just make it a percent change. We'll call it percent change. All right, let's see what that will look like. We're going to say done. And here we have it. Now, again, a big change up top, so that's kind of unusual, right? And we don't have anything in cost of goods sold, so this might not be the best data to look at for this. Here's a change that's kind of more modest for this report change. Obviously, there's a big difference between these two periods for whatever reason. So in any case, we've got the difference here being 22 minus the 32 is the negative 10. If I take that and divide it by the previous period, which is the 32 divided by the 32, move the decimal 2 places over, it's about 31%. And note, there's rounding involved here. That's why we could be off by a bit. So let's take one more. Let's take this 47 over here minus the 45. That's the change of 2 divided by the prior period, which in this case is the 47 divided by 47. And that gives us, if we move over 2 places, 4%. So that looks good. So I'm going to scroll back up top. So there's our report. And everything looks pretty good there. So let's go ahead. Now, we can memorize this report if we so choose. And then we'll go ahead and export this report and save this report. So I'm going to then go to let's memorize it first. I'm going to put it in the custom. So I'm going to put this in the custom report. And I'm going to call it not just an income statement, but a comparative income statement. And I'm not going to check this box off. So I'm going to say save. And then if I want to see that, I'm going to go back to the tab to the left. This is where I kind of check things out so I don't have to jump out of my report. I'm going to go back to the tab to the left. Then we're going to go down to the reports in the reports section on the tab to the left. And then I'm looking in the custom reports over here. Custom reports, and there's our comparative income statement. So again, if we want to put that in the favorites items, we could star that item here, which will put it in this grouping of favorite reports so we can get those as easily as possible. Now let's go back over, and we can also do things. Just note that we have these 2 other columns over here. So you could have drafts and published. And this could help things out. So you have the custom reports that are for you. If the published reports, that might be something that someone else, if you have multiple people working on different reports, might be something that they can then work with. So if you have multiple users in the report, you can then use that setting as well. So if I was to go to publish the report, then you have the name here, the date, and you could put the prepared by, and you could put your, who it's prepared by, and that way, and you can include a cover if you so choose, and then scroll back down the text style. And so then if you have different users that are in the report or in the software, then they could see the published report. Now also note that when you have the published report, it may be able to save the actual. So now you can see it's in the published section. Right, so now I have the summary reports, I've got the custom reports here, and I have the published reports. Also know that the published reports are publishing as of that point in time. So for example, if you wanted to publish the reports as of the end of the year, then you might publish the reports then, And then you have those kind of static numbers at that point. So they're not going to, and then if someone else goes in and changes something at a later point in time and it changes like retained earnings, like they void a check or something like that, you may be able to go back to basically the public reports and which should be unchanged at that point and see then you can kind of figure out, what the difference is from that point. So like when you close a period, if someone goes back in and adjusts something to the prior period, then you might be able to get like a static report that was printed before that point in time that you can do some comparison to. So in any case, you got the published report here. If you were to open up the published report, here's what you have here. Then if you wanted to delete the report, obviously you can go down here and delete the report or edit the report. I'm going to go ahead and delete the report. Now we have nothing in published, but we can go back to the custom and we still have the comparative income statement in the custom. When I open it up in the custom report, then you notice the numbers are going to change if someone made some kind of adjustment to like retained earnings or something. This is going to have the formatting of the report. The goal here is so I can kind of adjust the dates and whatnot on it. All right, so let's go ahead and print this, do our same kind of printing type of thing. We're going to go and export it as a PDF file. So we'll export it as a PDF file first, and then that's going to go and bring it up here. I'm going to pull that into our folder. I'm going to put it into section 3 is where we're at. So I'm going to pull that over into our section 3 numbers, and I'm going to make this a little bit larger. And so let's make this and view it at there. I'm going to rename this report by right-clicking on it. I called it a comparative income statement, and I misspelled income statement. I'm going to leave that for now, so just going to keep going forward here. We're going to export it also as an Excel file, and you can also do it as the Google Sheets. And that's going to open up. I'm not going to pull that over because what I want to do is add it to my income statement reports file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one. This is where I ultimately want to put it. And then I'll open up the new one and add a tab there. So we got 2 reports here. We're going to add another one. I'm then going to open this one up. This is the one that I want to add to that other Excel workbook. So I want to add a new worksheet with this information into that other workbook. So here it is, and so I'm going to copy this whole thing. So I'm going to select the triangle up top as we've done in the past, or Control A if you're anywhere else in the sheet. Right click and copy it. Then we're going to go back to our other one. We're going to open up a new tab. So open up a new tab, double click on the sheet below. I'm going to say comparative income statement. I'll just call it that. And then I'm going to right click on A1 and we'll simply paste it here. Then I'm gonna go up so I can see it a bit better. I'm gonna scroll back to 150. I'm gonna see if it fits on a page by going to the page layout view. And if I go up, it looks like it all fits on a page. That looks good. And then if I wanted to print all these at one point in time, then I can do that from here if I wanted to print them out to give to somebody and then print these in order, right? So I don't have to print 3 separate PDF files, or I could save them as a PDF file to give to someone else. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want to print, and I want to print it as a PDF file. So I'm going to use the Qt PDF printer. You need some kind of PDF printer. The Qt PDF printer is free, or at least it was when I used it, and it's been worked well for me. So then we have 3 pages. So here's the 3 pages. And again, that last page is kind of not looking quite the way it should. Let's go to that last page. Now you could adjust this maybe by... There we go. Let's do that. I just made that column a little larger. And then go back to the file. Then go to the print. And then we want the entire workbook. Let's see if it looks right now. Now it looks right. We might want to expand this first one so the title's not on 2 lines there. But I'm going to keep that for now. I'm going to keep it. It's okay for now. So we're going to print that. It's going to print it to a PDF. So we're going to print it to a PDF. It's going to ask us where we want to put it. So there it is. That's not where I want it, though. I want it on the P&L. So I want it here. And it should be replacing the income statement reports. So that's where I want it. So I'm going to say save. So then if we were going to give this to someone or print this out, we could think of it as basically the 2 PDF reports, and I'm going to call this income statement reports. And then I'm going to put the comparative income statement in there, comparative income statement, and I'm going to put the income statement in there. Right? And so I could give this to somebody, or print this, print those two files and print those out, or give those as an attachment. Or if I'm going to attach it, I could right click on that and I could zip it and give it as one attachment of a zipped file. I'm going to close that. We can use the Excel file to print multiple reports if we need to print them so that they're already collated into one tab, sending them to the printer. Or we can do that same process and print them from the income statement report, or simply use this PDF file to give to somebody, which would have all the reports that are included in the one PDF file.